So, and cover yourself. The poor youth glanced desperately at the God King, back at her, and hared off through the trees, presumably towards his duties. Tila folded her arms and shook her head at her monarch. "Are you happy?" "His Divine Majesty was happy," her older brother replied sourly. "We need to talk about your propensity to interrupt his intimate moments." "Do not take that form of address with your sister," Tila snapped. "And kissing a groom here is not intimate." Natan looked around ostentatiously. The royal guard stood in pairs some distance away to intercept anyone intruding on their ruler, so long as that intruder wasn't Princess Tila Narida, since they weren't fools. Otherwise there was no one to be seen. "Besides, that is not the point," Tila continued. "It is unseemly for you to consort with such a low-born man. And what do you know of his parentage?" Natan demanded, sipping his wine. "It is clearly low enough for the stables," Tila snapped. "Your brother fails to see how it matters," Natan said, running a hand through his hair, which was starting to thin very slightly on top. Not from stress, Tila doubted. Natan Narida would reach 40 summers this year, and she could count the number of difficult decisions he'd made on both hands, with digits to spare. "We are Nari's blood. Everyone is low-born compared to us. It is just a matter of scale." He looked at her, eyes suddenly sharp. "This is presumably some prelude to trying to make your brother court a woman, is it not?" "No," Tila said tiredly. She sat down next to him, in defiance of all convention that one should wait for the light of heaven's permission. Or at least not a specific woman. Quite frankly, anyone would do. "You would be happy for the God King to court a low-born woman, then?" Natan asked in mock surprise. "You need an heir," Tila said bluntly. "Oh, Nari's teeth, not this again." "You need an heir," Tila repeated, even more firmly. "Preferably more than one, as you well know. Your brother does keep fucking the men, but so far they have stubbornly refused to get with child," Natan said, swirling his wine. "He supposes he will just have to try harder." "Would it kill you to pick a high-born woman, marry her, fuck her until her belly swells, then go back to your men?" Tila asked bitterly. "Tila, your brother would not have the faintest idea what to do with a woman. He understands the theory but could never bring himself to enact it." Tila closed her eyes and scrubbed her forehead with her hand. "Your sister cannot believe she is having this conversation with you, but Nari knows no one else will. What about if you were blindfolded? If you were only aware of the other person through touch, then your brother is not some stud dragon for you to breed a prize calf from," Natan snapped, hurling his goblet away. "He refuses to be held hostage to your notions of what he should be doing with his cock." "It's not about your cock," Tila said with a shudder. "It's about the future of the nation. An unbroken line of male succession, may Nari help us all. Woe betide Narida if it suffers another splintering." Natan rubbed at his right eye. "Tila, you know your brother would give up the throne to you in an instant." "Your sister knows," she replied, trying to keep frustration out of her voice, now he was at least attempting to be reasonable. "Although she thinks you underestimate how different your life would be once you were no longer God King. But that aside, it cannot happen, so there is no point speculating. The Thanes would rebel against a woman's rule in a moment." "You cannot know it would lead to another splintering," her brother said, and Tila sighed. No matter how many times they had this conversation, he never seemed to fully accept the truth. "Yes, your sister can," she told him bluntly, "and that, incidentally, is why she came to..."